Hello and welcome back to My Own Worst Enemy, a special unboxing just arrived from MMP. This is On To Richmond II, The Union Strikes South. And like I said, this is from MMP. The designers included in here, I think, are Joe Bolkowski, Ed Beach, and Chris Withers. Before we dive into this, and it is just arrived and still in the shrink, this is not the first game in this series I've owned, and I have not yet done a video on any of the games in this series. That's bad on my part, but I just want to point out real quick that I also have Hood Strikes North. I also have Roads to Gettysburg 2, Lee Strikes North, and I also have Battle Above the Clouds. So I do have other games in this series, and I am happy, wonderfully excited to receive this one. And I think this might just be enough to prompt me to finally get one of these to the table and do a playthrough. Very excited about this. Heard lots of good things about this series, and I know that this one is highly anticipated by a lot of people out there. It does contain 3 campaigns. So it does have On to Richmond II, Grant Takes Command 2, and the Petersburg Campaign in here. So let's take a quick look at what the box says here. Contains the Great Campaigns, the American Civil War Series rulebook, 3 separate specific rulebooks for each of the campaigns, 4 22 by 32 full-color map sheets. And I've heard a lot of good things about these maps. I can't wait to dig in there and take a look at what's in here. 5 280-piece counter sheets, so lots of clipping ahead for me. 1 2-sided 11 by 14 color off-map display and charts card, 1 terrain card, 2 full-color displays, 2 4-page full-color charts and table cards, and 2 6-sided dice. Complexity here, it's at a medium-low, and solitaire suitability is at a medium. I'm going to laugh that off, as I typically do. So let's crack into this thing and see what we get with On to Richmond II. And right on the top, we get a nice little purple piece of paper, On to Richmond II, Great Campaigns of the American Civil War. So basically it's just a MMP customer satisfaction guarantee. So that's nice to have, nice to see. We appreciate that. And I've messed up my mat here, so let's straighten that out before we continue. Next is On to Richmond, the Peninsular Campaign, April through July of 1862. So this must be the special rulebook just for that On to Richmond Petersburg Campaign. Very nice rulebook, glossy paper, and like I said, I've opened the other ones that I showed you, but I've really never played them or even flipped through them. I don't even think I've done an unboxing on any of those. It's really embarrassing for me to say that, knowing the praise that this system receives. Really nice looking artwork there, and I'm just looking. It looks like there's some scenarios, game history by Joseph Bolkowski. Again, more history to read. I love that. There you go. That's that book. Here's the 2d6, a red and a white. Of course, I will have specially themed Civil War dice when I do the playthrough on this. And I'm going to well, let's just take the stuff in order. So here's a counter sheet. And they are, we'll hold this up so you can see this along with the nice looking counters. They're the white core, a little bit thinner than what, well, they're not that thin, but they're a little bit thinner than, I guess, what I normally am used to seeing, or like to see, I should say. But looking at the counters, they do look really nice. They're not half-inch, they're a little bit larger than that, I believe. So there you can see, here's the back sides of those. So that's one counter sheet. I think it said there were more than that in here. I'm sure there are. Where's the terrain effects card, or chart? Easy to read, nice big print. Very colorful, and I think this will probably hold up to being used over and over again. Now see a map, so we're going to set that aside. We will get to the maps. Some more counter sheets. And I'm just going to look to see if they are, so this says counter sheet 2 front, On to Richmond II. The first one said On to Richmond II, so they're not separated by campaign. More nice looking counters. I'm noticing there the color coding on those infantry units. So assuming that has to do with activations or something. Like I said, I have not played this game, so I do not know. If you would like to let me know down below in the comments. So here's another chart table, combat table, Grant Takes Command, retreat chart, cavalry charts, Confederate losses, movement summaries, a command radius, all very neat looking. Now here's the Great Campaigns of the American Civil War Standard Basic Game Rules version 1.5, and I want to say that the latest version that is in the games I have, I want to say it was 1.3, maybe even earlier than that. We have a brand new updated version 1.5 rulebook, which I'm assuming I can read this instead and then go back and play something like Battle Above the Clouds with the Battle Above the Clouds rulebook thrown in to get the extra clarifications for those rules. So I'm going to look here with you a little closer up. So here's a sample units. The counters are not very busy at all. They're just basic counters: size, organization, name, symbol, tactical value, and artillery value for infantry there. There's some leader counters. There's McClellan, George himself. Again, very glossy paper. The font is not that small. It is definitely readable with my old eyes, so that's appreciated. Not a lot of pictures in here, just a lot of text and verbiage. Combat example. So that doesn't look like a very rules-heavy game. That's good. I was thinking this was a more complex system than that. Now maybe it is once you throw in the additional campaign books that go with this. But even those didn't look all that big. And there's some tables on the back. Yeah, so maybe not as complicated as I thought. There's another map. So it said there were 4, and these are sorted in this box in a really interesting style. It's almost like the counter sheets are intentionally protected by those charts and the maps. Counter sheet number 3, really nice looking counters. I like the art style on these. The backs of those. Yeah, like I said, a lot of clipping, and hopefully there's a storage solution out there for this. This is just another charts and player's aid card. Here's the Petersburg Campaign, and yeah, that's okay. So where'd that rule book go? This is definitely heavier than the rule books. The rule book is actually fairly light. This Petersburg Campaign book is really, really heavy, and there are 64 pages. The rule book went up to, I want to say in the 20s. Yeah, 23. Here's where the complexity picks up, I'm assuming. And it's the same font, so it's definitely a lot more rules in this campaign book than what was in that rule book. I'm not complaining, though. I'm not complaining at all. It's a little more complex than, I guess, what perhaps the back of the box indicated, although I don't put a lot of faith in what those ratings are on the back of the box. Advanced game rules. So I guess there is a basic and an advanced game in this, so that would make it a little bit easier to play if you were trying to learn the game. But I'm sure if I play this, I'd probably want to use the advanced rules, just because I love the gaming this era so much. And then another, what is this here? On to Richmond, the Union strikes south. Union force displays. We have a force display chart and a movement track. Probably where the hidden information comes in, where the solitaire suitability was listed as a medium. Another counter sheet, so counter sheet 4. Seeing some Confederates now, Confederate infantry, different markers for the game, and there's the back. And again, these are going to look really nice when they're clipped. And that third book, which is, again, 72 pages, so the Overland Campaign. Very heavy rulebook indeed. And I'm assuming there'd be an advanced and a basic game here. So yeah, there's the basic rules take you up to page 21, and then the advanced game rules are the chunk of this. So they start at page 23 and pretty much go on up to page 41. Again, I see designer's notes, and the game is history. Let's turn back there and take a look at that, 66, because I love good designer notes in history. Yeah, so there's the important dates and some information about what happened on those dates. Very exciting stuff. There is a lot in this box. So this was one of the more expensive games that I had purchased. I think I paid around $160 for this. If I remember correctly, it's been a while, but well worth the price, it looks like. There's a lot contained in the box. And here we just see some more, looks like generic game counter type markers. I see some forts and some breastworks and some fatigue markers. And there's the back of that. Looking forward to learning this one. And there's 2 more maps, so that's going to do it for the maps, I believe. And then at the very bottom, I guess we have this Confederate movement and force display chart. So now let's crack into the maps, and this is what I was really waiting to see. Make some room here. I know they're not all going to fit on this table. We'll see what we can do. So here's an off theater map. So this is intriguing to me. I'm assuming these are Grant takes command north map and south map. So those would probably be the maps that you would use for that campaign. And this is probably just even a zoomed out view. And on the back of this, we have a Petersburg Campaign turn track. There's a random events table. I like to see random events. That adds to replayability for sure. Now I'm just going to pull out, in no particular order, we're going to grab a map and take a look at it. This is that Grant takes command north map, and I'm going to have to say that, yeah, I'm going to agree with what's been said about these maps. These are beautiful. They're easy to read. I was concerned when I saw this about being able to read the hex numbers. That is not an issue at all. There's a lot of detail on here, a lot of little spots that are highlighted, Garrett's Church, General Coleman, just things that, I mean, this looks like something you would see in a one of the old, and I'm going to show my age here, but you used to buy, we didn't have Google Maps, we used to buy these big atlas books, and you would see maps very similar to this, that kind of detail. So this is a beautiful map. Potomac River up here, Spotsylvania. So let's grab the next map. We'll just put it right on top of this one. And of course, it looks like I will have to lay something on these maps for a bit to let them not pooch up as much. So this is a map that goes north to south. So maybe I should move the Grant map a little bit out of the way here. And what are we looking at? This is the south map of Grant takes command. So that's going to be an interesting challenge to get both of these maps onto one table. I'm assuming I can do that. That's going to be, like I said, a challenge. I'm just looking here at, yeah, this is a beautiful map. These maps are awesome, freaking awesome. On to Richmond, the south map. So let's see what's here. I see the James and the York River. Now we're getting close to where I live. I doubt that I'm going to be on this map because I'm in a very remote area, but let's see what we've got. The James River, Warwick, Gloucester is up here. So now I'm going to be more that way. So I'm not going to be on this map. Isle of Wight, Surrey, Sussex. And at the bottom of this map, so this did say that this was the south map to On to Richmond. So you get, again, looks like a turn track chart and some more player's aid information at the bottom. Now I'm going to grab what I'm assuming will be the On to Richmond north map. And it is. So I'm just going to put this right on top of this map, and a little more pooching going on, but we can flatten it out here to see what we get. And yeah, so there's some player's aid stuff up here. And so now this being the north map, so I said I was in this direction. There's Gloucester again. I'm actually going to be across the Rappahannock and even further up this way. So not even going to be on the map. And I'm going to look here to see what is on this northern part. There's Yorktown. So yeah, I'm even further north that way. Too bad. So there'll be no Confederate and Union activity in my neighborhood, but that's all right. This is close enough that I can drive to see where some of these battles took place. There's Richmond down here in the corner. Almost missed it. All right, that is it. I was very excited to get this. I wanted to do an unboxing just to show you guys what was in here. Now, I know there were some problems with the maps. The shipping for this for me was delayed. I got what they're calling the corrected maps. And online, I was looking at the differences between the corrected maps and the not corrected maps. There were some border issues. I would have been happy with the non-corrected maps. They were beautiful, just as beautiful as these. Minor fix on those maps, but kudos to MMP for actually stopping shipment and correcting the maps and giving the people that had already received theirs the corrected maps. That is above and beyond. That's what game publishers should do. I was very happy to hear that when they did it. I mean, it meant I got this game a little bit later. That's fine. I would much rather have it a little bit later and receive components like this in great quality than to have to get something that wasn't quite up to what they considered their standards. All right, so that's it. I'm going to wrap this up. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, and that way you can see when I actually do a playthrough of one of these. I'm not sure which one I will do the playthrough of first. You can help me out by letting me know which one you think might be an easier beginner scenario or game in the 4 of the games that I have now. Yeah, so subscribe so you can catch that. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you back here next time.